There comes a moment in every trader's journey that feels strangely quiet. No explosion, no dramatic failure, no final blow-up that forces you to quit. Just a slow, unsettling realization. You're still here, still trading, still trying, but something feels off. You've learned enough to know what you should be doing. You understand the language of the market. You can explain your mistakes clearly, sometimes even before you make them. And yet, you keep repeating them. Not loudly, not recklessly, but subtly, almost politely. This is the phase most traders don't talk about, because it doesn't look like failure from the outside. But internally, it's where survival is decided. Not by skill, not by intelligence, but by a psychological upgrade that either happens or doesn't. And if it doesn't, the market doesn't punish you all at once. It drains you slowly. At first, trading felt alive. Every candle mattered. Every move felt meaningful. Every click carried hope. You remember that phase. You felt involved, connected, alert. Losses hurt, but they felt educational. Wins felt like confirmation you were getting it. But over time, something changed. Losses stopped teaching. Wins stopped satisfying. You didn't feel excited anymore, but you didn't feel calm either. You felt stuck in between. Not beginner, not professional, just suspended. And this is where most traders unknowingly fight the wrong battle. They think they need more knowledge, more refinement, more confidence. They think the next adjustment will fix the problem. But the problem isn't technical, it's psychological, because the market has already moved you to the next level, but your identity hasn't caught up yet. Every trader enters this game believing they're here to win, but survival comes first, and survival requires a mindset that feels almost unnatural, because the upgrade the market demands is not about becoming sharper. It's about becoming quieter, less reactive, less urgent, less emotionally invested in being right, and more grounded in something most traders resist: acceptance. Not acceptance of loss, that part is easy to say. Acceptance of uncertainty, true uncertainty, the kind that doesn't get resolved by analysis, the kind that can't be negotiated with logic, the kind that remains even when you've done everything correctly. Most traders never truly accept this. They tolerate it, they intellectualize it. They repeat the phrase, anything can happen, but inside, they still expect the market to behave, to reward discipline quickly, to punish mistakes clearly, to make sense in a way that feels fair. And when it doesn't, something inside them tightens. They start forcing meaning. That's when the real damage begins. Watch what happens psychologically at this stage. You no longer take reckless trades. Instead, you take justifiable ones. Trades that you can explain. Trades that feel almost meet your rules. Trades that feel reasonable in the moment. You don't feel impulsive. You feel logical. And that's what makes this phase so dangerous, because you're not acting out of excitement anymore. You're acting out of discomfort. Discomfort with waiting. Discomfort with silence. Discomfort with not knowing. The market isn't doing anything wrong, but your mind doesn't know how to sit with that, so it fills the gap with action, with micro adjustments, with subtle rationalizations, not because you're greedy, but because uncertainty feels like vulnerability, and the ego hates vulnerability. This is the moment where trading stops being about learning setups and starts being about unlearning reactions. But most traders don't recognize it. They think they're stuck because they're missing something. In reality, they're stuck because they're still trying to control something that cannot be controlled. Not price, their relationship with it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The trader who survives long-term is not the one who predicts better. It's the one who stops needing the market to validate them. Stops needing clarity before acting. Stops needing reassurance during a trade. Stops needing meaning from every outcome. Because survival requires a psychological shift away from interpretation and into observation. That sounds simple. It isn't. Observation feels passive. Interpretation feels productive. Observation asks you to wait. Interpretation lets you act. and the market rewards the one who can wait without needing to feel important. Most traders never make this upgrade. They remain mentally active even when physically disciplined. They follow rules, but their mind is still negotiating, still hoping, still bracing, still leaning emotionally into outcomes. They may reduce losses, they may last longer, but eventually fatigue sets in. Not physical fatigue, mental erosion. Because every trade still carries emotional weight, every loss still triggers internal dialogue, every win still reinforces identity. And over time, this becomes unsustainable, not because they're bad traders, but because they're still emotionally participating instead of observing. The psychological upgrade required to survive is subtle. It doesn't make you feel powerful. It makes you feel smaller, more neutral, more detached, more ordinary. You stop feeling like the market is speaking directly to you. You stop personalizing randomness. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And instead, you start noticing something strange. Nothing is happening to you. Things are just happening. And your job isn't to respond emotionally. It's to remain intact. This is where patience changes meaning. It's no longer about waiting for the right setup. It's about waiting without internal tension, without leaning forward, without needing relief. Most traders can wait physically. Few can wait psychologically. They sit in front of the chart, but internally they're restless, scanning, anticipating, bracing. Their body is still. Their mind is chasing. That's not patience. That's delayed impulse. True patience feels dull, almost empty, and that emptiness scares people. Because in that space, there's no identity, no I'm doing something, just awareness. And awareness doesn't stroke the ego. At this stage, the market begins to test you differently, not with big losses, but with boredom, with long stretches of nothing, with near misses, with trades that work slowly. It strips away stimulation, and what's left is you. Your tolerance for stillness, your relationship with uncertainty, your need to feel involved. This is where most traders unconsciously self-sabotage. They don't blow up, they bleed out. Through over-participation, through emotional micro-decisions, through the inability to accept that doing nothing is part of the job. The trader who survives understands something crucial. The market does not require engagement, it requires readiness. And readiness does not come from constant interaction. It comes from restraint, from conserving mental energy, from protecting clarity, from knowing when not to interpret. This is the upgrade, from actor to observer, from participant to witness, from someone inside the emotional field to someone standing just outside it. When this shift happens, trading feels different, quieter. You don't feel compelled to explain every move. You don't feel urgency to be involved. You don't feel attacked by losses. They register, but they don't echo. Wins don't inflate you. Losses don't deflate you. They simply occur, and you remain. This isn't emotional numbness. It's emotional containment, a boundary between you and randomness, and that boundary is what allows survival. Most traders chase confidence, but confidence is fragile. It depends on outcomes. What they actually need is neutrality. Neutrality doesn't feel empowering at first. It feels anticlimactic, like something is missing. And it is. Drama. The drama of being right. The drama of being wrong. The drama of believing this moment matters more than it does. But when the drama fades, something else emerges. Stability. And stability is what the market quietly rewards. This is why the traders who last don't look impressive. They're not intense. They're not hyper-focused. They're not emotionally charged. They're steady, almost boring. They don't talk much about their trades. They don't relive outcomes. They don't need validation. They show up. They observe. They act when required. And most of the time, they don't act at all. If you're struggling right now, understand this. You may not be failing. You may be standing at the threshold of the upgrade, the phase where knowledge stops being the problem and psychology becomes the gate.